be talking about the 5 things these women are looking for in a man. Y'all know the deal is basically BO, aka Cole Brown Official. We start at number 5 and we go down to number 1. So number 5 is ambition. You will hear this many, many times, and I believe it was Myron from Fresh and Fit that said this: every woman is a gold digger. Some just hide the shovel better than others. And I think there's some truth behind that. Like, a lot of women, you don't have to be at the finish line. You don't have to have a whole bunch of money. You don't have to have everything going for you. But if you're working towards something, a lot of these women will get behind you, especially the better women. They are willing to bet on you, but you have to be going somewhere. You know, if you're just sitting in your room playing video games, you don't have any big dreams that you're working towards, she's not going to be into you. You know, it's going to be very short-lived that she has a high interest in you. And I've seen this with guys, like a lot of guys that are really good at talking, but that's all they do. They really good at talking. They'll get women into them. And then when a woman realizes he's just talking, he's not working towards anything, she loses attraction very quick. You know, so that's number 5 is ambition. You have to be working towards something. And this is why I talk about the body game a lot. Because just if you have a nice physique, if you in that gym on a consistent basis, she's going to look at you and just think you're very ambitious. She's going to think you have goals. You know, a lot of times people think I'm more strict on my diet than I am. They're like, oh, do you weigh everything out? Do you count your calories every day? And it's like, I don't do all that stuff, you know. But people think I'm a lot more disciplined than I actually am because they see my physique. Next, going on to point number 4 is IQ and EQ. We all know women are hypergamous. She looks for a man that is smarter than her. But you also have to have that emotional intelligence as well. Because a lot of these women, they will shit test you. And the guys that don't have good EQ, they're going to fold every time. She's going to get under your skin on a consistent basis. You're going to be going back and forth arguing with her. You're going to be losing your mind. You're going to be punching holes in the wall. You're going to be throwing a fit. You're going to be crying. You're going to be having absolutely no control over your emotions. Having control over your emotions is very important. You got to be solid, man. You got to be that rock. You can't just be folding over everything, man. And I know, like, in today's world, they say, oh, men should just let their feelings out. And I'll have women tell me this, like, oh, no, I like it when my man comes to me and he's having a long day and he can just vent to me and, you know, or he can cry to me and stuff like that. And I always said this always been my stance. Like, if you really going through some shit, do what you got to do. But, you know, there's some dudes out here, they'll have a long day at work and just feel bad for themselves. Like, we have it so good, man. We have it so good. And you really just have to reflect on things. You have to look at people living in different places. You have to look at how people lived in the past. Like, life is so good now, man. But that's our human brain. We always looking at the negative. You know, we have life so good. Going on to point number 3 is a sense of humor. Women do like a serious man, but they always want that man that can goof off a little bit, that can tell jokes, you know. And to be real with y'all, like, I realize you have to be smart to be funny. Like, to be really witty, to be very clever, you have to be smart. So that's something I've really been thinking about lately. Like, the best comedians are very smart. You know, if you look at these comedians, they have to understand human nature. And I feel like I became better at telling jokes. I've been able to make people laugh a lot easier once I started really looking into human nature a little bit more and understanding people. Yeah, man, like, once you understand how people think, you kind of know how to move. So you will become a funnier person when you become smarter, you know, when you know about more things, when you pay attention to the small shit, you know. And I've always told people this, like, I'm not funny on like I could go do stand up. I don't think I could. Maybe I could. Who knows? But I feel like I'm funny. Like, if you're around me and we hang out for a couple weeks or months, like, I'm going to pick up on certain shit. And then it's going to come back later. Like, it's going to be a funny inside joke. And I'm always cracking some jokes, you know. That's like, I'm funny. Like, if you around me for a while, you're going to think I'm funny. But if you were just around me for one time, you might not think I'm the funniest person, you know. But that takes some type of smarts, you know, to have a really good sense of humor, to be really witty. Going on to number 2 is game. It's game. And I was kind of touching on this just a couple seconds ago. You have to know the game. You have to understand human nature. Like I said, man, I see a lot of guys online, they say just the body game, just the look smack thing. But it's like, nah, if you don't have the game, it doesn't matter, bro. You know, I done known dudes that got in shape, look good, but they don't know how women operate. They go out bad. You know, you can put yourself in the best position and still lose. We all see Travis Hunter right now. taking a major L. And I also know some guys are like, oh, why you talk about him? We shouldn't talk about him. Like, look, he put his shit on social media, man. Anything online is free game. Like I said, this whole cyberbullying shit, like, come on, grow up, dog. Grow up. Life is very good. And even the Travis Hunter, he's going out bad right now. He's going out bad. You know, people laughing at him, people making memes. But at the end of the day, it's just people online talking shit, bro. Like, is that shit really that deep? When you really think about it, it's like, dog, you about to get paid millions to catch a football, to tackle people. You live in a whole bunch of people's dream life. Yeah, he still has feelings. Yeah, he still has emotions. Yeah, he's still going to probably be down for a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. But it's like, you know, there's a lot of great things coming. There's a lot of great things down the road for him. You know, so to be tripping over this situation, he cuffed a bop, man. Most of us done mess with a bop like that. You know, not to that extent. Like, I ain't never waited hours outside a party while she was throwing it back on somebody. But I done went out bad before. I done had a girl and she was going to a party and she didn't invite me. But that's when I started going toward the end of that relationship, because I knew, like, this ain't right. You know, if your girl really rocking with you, she gonna bring you to the party with her, or she not gonna be in the parties at all. You know, but if she throwing it back on dudes and stuff like that, I done had issues like that. I done been talking to a girl, she going to a party, and I know she threw it back on another dude at that party in the past. You know, so you start heading that shit to make it an end. You know what I'm saying? You start looking for a new girl to bring in. You start taking the other girl to the door. And you just got to understand the game, dog. But if you don't understand the game, and I always tell y'all this, if you don't understand the game, bro, it don't matter how much money you make. It don't matter how good you look. You could be goddamn Tom Brady. You still gonna go out bad. You know, and you got to understand, sometimes these women, they just gonna leave. One day she could wake up and say, you know what? I want to go try this other guy. You know what? I think this other guy better than my guy. And if she feel that way, let her kick rocks. Tell her to leave the door open, because there's going to be another girl coming right in after her. That's the type of mindset you got to have, man. And last but not least, we talk about this all the time, is confidence. And I truly don't know what it is, but these past couple months, man, I feel like my confidence just been skyrocketing. And it's really a good feeling. Like, when I get around girls, maybe I'll tell this crazy story, man. I wasn't planning on telling this story, but I was hanging out with this bisexual chick the other day. But really, she was lesbian, you know. And I was just asking her the craziest stuff. But it's just like, I don't know where I'm at in life now, dog. Like, I'm not worried about people's judgment at all, man. Like, I can hop on this video and just talk straight off the dome. I'm not worried about what everybody thinks about me, man, because I finally believe in myself. And that shit took a long time to get there, man. But once you really get there, like, it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling, man, because for so long, man, I just doubted myself. You know, and sometimes certain shit come from your childhood, you know. No disrespect to my brother, but, like, my brother used to put me down all the time, you know. And I realized that going on the cruise a couple weeks, like, I'd go out, we hit the club, you know, there was girls in there, we dancing and stuff like that. My brother didn't dance, but then once we sit down, we done dancing, he like, oh, you looking stiff out there. And I was like, you ain't even get up and dance, so who really looking stiff? You looking stiff in that seat, you know? But it's like, I already always doubted myself. And then I had my brother right there, and he would always doubt me too. You know, and like I said, there's no disrespect to my brother, but my brother tends to think on the more negative side. You know, and once I realized that, I'm just like, dog, like, you can really be whatever you want to be. You can really be that guy, but you got to think you that guy. You got to go live life to its fullest, man. You got to go do what you want to do. You can't be worried about what everybody thinks about you. You know, but it takes that confidence. And like I said, like, a good way to start building that is hitting the gym, getting in good shape. So when you look in that mirror, you know you look good. You don't have to lie to yourself about you look good. And like they say, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. You know, you're not afraid of everybody's judgment when you know you really got the goods. When you really know that you that guy. You know, if I go out and I dance and I look stiff, I don't care. I might be a little stiff. You know, I might be a little stiff. I need to get in some yoga classes and shit. You know, I know that. You know, I need to stretch a little bit more, and it's okay. But it's like, once you stop caring about people's judgment so much, your life will change, man. And you start to realize that most of the people you think are paying attention to you, they so invested into you, they really don't care that much, dog. They really don't care that much. You know, my brother was watching me dance because he wasn't out there dancing. He should have been going doing his own thing, you know. But I realized a lot of that shit came from my childhood, from growing up with a speech impediment, getting bullied a lot, from having my brother always, like, putting doubt in my ear when I was already doubting myself. Like, I said, man, bump all that shit, man. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. You know, and once you start living like that, these women will really be invested into you, because most of these guys are very insecure. Most of these guys do not believe in themselves. The way we are raised in today's society, you raised to care about everybody's judgment. And it's part of us. It's part of us as humans to care about what people think. But I said, you only need to care about what certain people think. Then people you look up to, the people you want to be like. Not all the fucking peons. They're not offering anything, because they always going to have negative shit to say no matter what you're doing. You know? So just going through it again, number 5 was ambition. You got to be working towards something. I always hear that with women. Oh, I want a man that's, you got to be doing something, man. Y'all boys that playing video games all day, y'all boys that playing with your meat all day, that will stunt your growth. And me, dog, I was on the hub for a long time. I started watching that shit early, 11, 12 years old. Watching on a daily basis. I thought it was good for me, because I look it up on Google. Is masturbation good? And it would say it is good for you. Yeah, it's good to release. Okay, cool. So I just kept doing my thing, thinking it was a good thing. But then once I started getting with women, I was like, certain things would be off, Go on to point number 4, emotional intelligence. You got to have both. You got to have the IQ and you got to have the EQ, because these women will test you to try to get under your skin. So you have to be able to operate. You got to be able to know how to move in certain situations. You got to know when she's shit testing you. And there's been times like I'll act, I'll decide how my emotions are going to be before I get in the situation. Like today, no matter what she does, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to have a great day. Like, that's how you got to do it, man. Going on to point number 3 is sense of humor. Chicks like a funny guy. You know what I'm saying? You always hear that. I want a funny guy. These comedians, these chicks love comedians, Even you see some of these comedians be fat as hell, but the women love him because he can make her laugh. Then point number 2 was game. You got to have game. You got to have female understanding. And last but not least, you got to have confidence, man. When you have that confidence, everything will change. But you can't sometimes you got to fake it a little bit. But like I said, like, give yourself reasons to be confident in yourself. Test yourself. And once you keep testing yourself every day, you don't care what everybody else tests are, because you don't put yourself through the fire. You don't put yourself through the fire, so all this other shit, that shit ain't hot. But that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the video. What is one main thing that you realize that women are really into, like the most important thing to them? I always said it was confidence, because once I became more confident, the results were completely different. So, man, y'all, if you're not in the gym, make sure to go get in the gym, get your body right. Whatever you scared to do, go do it today, man. I hope y'all have a beautiful Christmas, and that's all I got for y'all today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.